girl Jenna, and today we are going to talk about why I started crocheting. Okay? That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why I started crocheting. All right? And so I make these videos for learning purposes and for inspiration. Okay? I'm still trying to find my way for, this channel, Today Crochet and everything. And I actually streamed this, guys, live on one of our platforms. And so, yeah, I just feel comfortable making live streams for some reason. I don't know why, but I do. And I try to give the live and the replay all in one. So this is just great for like people to listen to, people to get encouraged. It's a little bit of ASMR situation because I'm using my inside meditational voice, my teaching voice. Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about why I started crocheting. All right. Now, I started crocheting back in 2009 because I was a hairstylist. I'm a retired hairstylist right now. I don't know if I'm going to ever go back to that business. But right now I'm just a, senior cosmetologist that teaches and does everything. Does everything around but just hair. I don't do hair. I don't do hair anymore right now. Okay? Yeah, you hear the stuttering in my voice? Yeah, God has me on another path right now, but I don't know if that's forever closed, okay? But yeah, I did work at a hair salon, and the stylists there, they were crocheting. And of course, they didn't offer me the skill of it. In fact, they didn't even want me to know about it. They act like it was just this club, and I'm like a child as far as what I'm around. I'm going to want to imitate. So I'm careful on what I digest or what I watch, because it makes me want to partake in whatever I'm watching, and that's biblical, by the way. And so I went home to my husband. I said, you know what? They're crocheting and they're doing this. I said, take me to Walmart and I'm going to get me a hook. I got one hook. I think it was a 5. And I got maybe 1 or 2 steams of yarn or whatever. And I went on YouTube and I just started to crochet. That's basically what I started to do, and I got the concept. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I made some hats. Life happened, and then I put it down for, my goodness, 10 years, okay? And here we go. And I am crocheting now. And the reason why I picked it up this go round is because I took care of my dear granddad for 12 years, and he had dementia. And I didn't understand the disease at all. He was diagnosed with it, and we thought that it was just a memory thing. But no, it's a lot more than that. It is a slow burn. It's a slow, demise. It's very, very sad to be in the condition or the situation of taking care of someone with that. So the best way to deal with dementia is to prevent it. And so I had asked God. I said, God, I don't want dementia, and I know my granddad wouldn't want me to get dementia, and I noticed some things about my memory, and I was like, I can't even remember what I said a minute ago. And I said, you know what, God, what can help me with not getting dementia? And so the Lord told me, I came across, I was actually watching some videos on TT, okay? And because I was watching videos, someone crocheting came across my timeline. And so I started to watch them, and it immediately basically watered a seed that was already in me, because I had started to crochet many moons ago, and I just picked up my hook, and I picked up my old yarn and kept it moving. And I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do it again. And I started making hats and, you know, and things like that. And I started just looking up ways to make hats and ways to do this and ways to do that. And I just started, you know, doing it again. And I looked up the prices of yarn, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know back in 2009 yarn was not this expensive. And so I said, you know what, I'm probably not gonna, you know, keep going with this. But anyway, God said, you know what, no, you are going to crochet, and I want you to go on was it Walmart, and I want you to see about the yarn. Well, lo and behold, what happened was, I had to get louder because the music is going by. Okay. What happened was, I went on YouTube's site, and I'm sorry, on what is it, Walmart site, and they had all their yarn like 75% off. And I said, you know what? God is good. This is a sign. So I went and I bought like $60 worth of yarn, and then I went, I started, you know, watching other people do, you know, crocheting, and I would see little things they're using. So I said, oh my gosh, what are these little, what is it called? Like, they look like safety pins. And I'm gonna show you guys, what it is in a minute. I'm gonna show you. I was like, what are these safety pins? So I went on, what is it called? Amazon. And I looked up, they're called stitch markers. And I have some better ones, actually. And I went on there, and these stitch markers, which I have on my Amazon site, guys. And when you go there and purchase from my site, it does help me out. And I got these too. And I said, I didn't know what it was, but it was cool when she was using it. And I said, honey, I'm going to go ahead and get that. So I imitate. You're like a child, you know, when you're picking up something new. And I said, I don't know what it is or how she got it. And I went and got that. And then I got a whole set of crochet hooks. Okay. I went on Amazon and got that. This is on my site as well. And I just, you know, came across another crochet artist, and she was talking about Joanne. So I went to Joanne.com, and Joanne had a huge sale on their yarn. And I went and I bought a whole bunch of stuff from Joanne's. And this is just a story, guys, okay? And I said, you know what? Once I invested and spent about $100 on this, I said, I'm going to do it. And initially, of course, I don't intend on necessarily selling clothes or anything like that, because that's what I'm interested in. I like to gravitate to the difficult stuff. You know, you just have to kind of learn, like, what is it that you like to do? Some people will love the easy stuff. Some people will love the medium stuff. I like the hard stuff. Some people like to make plushies and teddy bears. I mean, it's people out here who live and breathe crochet. And that's why I have a whole TT on it called Today Crochet. I have a YouTube called Today Crochet, and we are building it up because I want to spread the word about crocheting. And I'm in my 40s picking up this skill. So it's not age, you know, it doesn't discriminate on age or race or weight or anything like that. I'm making plus size clothes, y'all. Yeah, I'm doing it up. And I wanted to spread this because it has helped me. What has happened to me since I started to crochet? Of course, it started because of my dear old granddad, and I love that, and it's something he would love me to have done. You know, he'd be like, go on, girl, and seeing all the stuff that I'm making, and he would support it. You know, he supported anything that made me, you know, feel good and made me, use my talent, I mean, he would support that. And my husband does too. He supports me making videos about crocheting. He supports that. And that's good. Like, when you take this serious, you want to be able to do it where people don't feel like, oh, you're crocheting all day, taking time away from me. Oh, no, you want them to understand this is your therapy. So what have I seen since I started crocheting? Well, I've started to calm down. I have anxiety. I have been diagnosed with a condition called agoraphobia, and you guys can go ahead and look that up. It is serious. It is something that I've developed because of the panorama. And but I think I had it all my life because of the traumatic things that I've seen young and things like that, and losing parents and losing loved ones and all of that jazz. And so agoraphobia just basically nestled in my my vessel. But I don't use it as a crutch or anything. I use it a part of my purpose, which is to get people to understand how to deal with things holistically. Okay, we're gonna sidetrack a little bit, guys. This big twist, this is what I'm using. This yarn splits, guys. It splits. So I really don't suggest getting it. I mean, if you're a beginner and you just want to hurry up and just get a quick little care package on crocheting, then yes, get it, because it's probably affordable. But just know that it splits, and it's not you. It's just, you know, it splits. It's thin. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's why I started crocheting, and I have seen a difference in my stamina, in my my anxiety. It helps with anxiety. It calms me down. It makes me focus. I feel like, oh, I'm doing this, you know, for a purpose, is, you know, and making things, being creative. It just basically helps to supplement the fear and the anxiety and the stress. You know, you're sitting down, you're making something. That's always a good thing. Okay? So it trains your mind to relax, and relaxing helps you to not, you know, be so stressed out, and it's good for your brain. It really is. One thing about, the brain, guys, and you can do your own research. I'm trying to find my way and trying to incorporate my holistic information, because times have changed. So just understand everything that I'm saying is for educational or for entertainment purposes only. It's not to diagnose. It's not to say you have this, you have that. It's just basically telling you my journey and what has basically helped me out. Okay. Now, with that being said, one thing about the brain is, and that's emotional stress or even a physical injury, it does not heal fast. You know, once you get a brain injury, guys, whether it's physical, come on now, dog. Once it's, you know, physical or emotional, it tends to stay with you for a long time, especially if you have not identified the problem, right? So case in point, if you went through something in your childhood, you lost a parent. Okay. That's my story. I lost a parent at the age of 13. And so that was meant to destroy me. That was meant to stop my purpose. That was meant to basically take me off of the path that God wanted me to live. Why? Because that's detrimental. That was my parent. That was my mother. I'm a woman, and you need your mother, right? Well, I did not have that. However, God had it where I had some great grandparents. And when I say great, they were my grandparents. They weren't my great grandparents, but they were great. And they took me in, and they, of course, did not replace my mother. But my gosh, I had some great times with them. And so with that being said, I learned about church and God. I learned about education. I had a great life during my, what they say, years when you're really developing, and it helped me to deal with that stress. And no, I didn't pick up crocheting as a child. I wish I did. Oh my gosh, I wish I started doing a lot of things as a child, like doing hair and things like that. I started very late. I was a late bloomer. They tell me I didn't walk until I was darn near 2 years old. Okay. I was almost 2 years old. My mom wanted to break my legs in, or whatever that's called back in the 80s. And I must have heard that conversation, because as soon as she made that appointment, I started walking. Okay. So the story of my life, I'm just a late bloomer. Who in here is a late bloomer? Meaning you started late. Okay. Type, tell me below, let me know that, yeah, I was a late bloomer. Go ahead and just type late bloomer. But that's basically what happened to me. I was a late bloomer, and, I remember when I was, a little older and married, my grandmother, she had said, here's a hook that my original grandmother, my original grandmom, passed away when I was 5. And so the grandmother that my granddad had married, of course, that was my, second grandmother. I don't like the word step because, honey, and maybe step means they stepped in. Wow, I just got that clarity just now. Maybe step parent means they stepped in and basically took over the original parent. Okay, cool. But no, I don't like that word. She was my second grandmother, and she said, hey, I think this belongs to your grandmother. It's a hook. And I said, oh, okay. And, I took it and kept it moving. Little did I know that I think crocheting is really in my DNA. I think it's in my DNA. It's meant for me to crochet. I just did not know. I like latch hook too. So I don't know if it was a crochet needle. I don't know if it was a latch hook. I really don't know really what it was. But it was something to let me know that, yes, that was something that's in my DNA to make things and to have that type of skill. All right. And so crocheting, I feel like anyone can learn it, but everyone may not have a passion for it like I do. And I was, I thought I would never make videos again because my body had become so burned out from being a caregiver. Anybody who has been a caregiver, you know of what I'm talking about. You know that being a caregiver is a labor of love, yes, but it really does take a lot out of you. And one thing I did not have time doing, and see, God will give you what you need when it's time, because when I was a caregiver, honey, I didn't have any time to do anything. I hardly had any time to take a bath, okay? I had to take a bath, of course, but honey, I was not taking care of myself. I wasn't taking care of my husband the way I should have. I wasn't taking care of home. I wasn't cooking properly. My granddad was my top priority. He was literally like my baby, because I just felt, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can, because I never wanted to put my grandparents in a nursing home. I didn't have to have that decision with my grandmother because she left first. And then my granddad, he lived, my goodness, 12 years later than she did. And so, of course, I was always tempted, like, oh my goodness. But no, I worked in a nursing home, and I was like in my 20s. And I immediately, when I walked in the nursing home, it smelled like urine. And God must have heard what I said. Of course, he hears your thoughts. He hears you when you talk. So even when you don't think he does, he really does. I said, I will never put my grandparents in a nursing home. Well, honey, that went from my mouth straight to his ears, and he made a way. He said, okay, word? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to train you how to be a caregiver. Didn't even know at the time. I was just, my grandfather sent me to school, college. I didn't finish, but I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse from the time I was 13 years old because, of course, I lost my mother. My mother was sick. It was quick. It was whatever. And I said, you know what? I wanted to be a nurse. Well, that was not the best reason to become a nurse, because I attached it to something that was negative. Become a nurse because you genuinely want to help somebody. Become a nurse because you genuinely want to give back. But don't attach it to something negative. That's why even with me attaching this about to my grandfather having dementia, you know, some may say, well, that's negative. Well, it's not negative because, to be honest, everyone who is listening to this right now can get dementia. Yes. And if I'm doing this and I'm letting you guys know that, you know, crocheting, and you can look this up. It's actually information out there that will tell you that crocheting, in fact, I put it in the comments, okay? The benefits of crocheting, that crocheting helps to prevent dementia. It can, you know, if you're serious about it. Yes. And so I attached it to basically bringing awareness to dementia. Okay, that's what I did. But try your best not to attach anything that you're going to do, whether it be a career, whether it be a skill, whether it be a food, anything. You don't want to attach it to something negative, okay? But yeah, so that's basically why I started to crochet, because I don't want to get dementia. I want to work on my my nerves and my anxiety and agoraphobia and all of that. And you know, not saying that, oh, this is the cure all, because it's in my opinion, there is no cure to anything. It's just you learn how to deal with it. You learn how to prevent things. You learn how to heal things. But there's no cure, you know, to things like that, to anxiety, your nerves. My nerves is a wreck. Okay. That's why I started doing videos POV, which is point of view. I have to, you know, drink tea and do little things like that to help me with my nerves. I do teas. I do, you know, all kinds of, you know, little herbal remedies that are legal, even though the negative can be legal, if you get my drift. But I don't do that. I wasn't trained to do that or raised to do that, nor do I want to do that. I was trained against it. So in my adult life, I don't do it. I don't do drinking. I don't do any of those things. I try my best to relax in a way where I don't need extracurricular activities to so-called do that. Okay. So yeah, that's why I started to crochet. And then it just started to develop like, oh my gosh, I'm creating things. Oh my gosh, I'm actually going to wear this. Oh my gosh, I'm making videos again, which brings me to the fact that I thought that I would never make videos again because I was so burned out and I was so malnutrition because of the stress. When you stress, your body cannot absorb nutrients. That's why they say stress will annihilate you. It is what it is. And you will say, well, how does that happen? Well, because cortisol, it helps you to not absorb anything. It's like a fight or flight thing. You're just going to be concentrated on what's going on now. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the past. You're just literally just thinking about the now. And if you have to constantly get out of danger, your body thinks that you are in danger, whether you're at work, whether you're around a family member, whether you're walking, whether you're eating. Everything is so stressful. That is going to cause you to not absorb nutrients. So yes, after caregiving, I was so depleted. My heart was off rhythm. I was severely dehydrated. My weight was down, but it was down because I was so severely dehydrated. And it's taking me about good 2 years to even get back to, not even back, because I don't think I've ever been in this mental condition where I've been focused and creativity and things like that. And that's what crocheting has done for me. It has helped me to develop how to be creative and focused. You know, you get to the point where you can't even focus on a book. You can't even read a book because you are so nervous and you're so worried all of the time. You can't take in knowledge. You can't take in any kind of relaxation. You can't read a book about nothing. You can't even read a blog because you're just stressed out all the time. Yeah. So that's what caregiving did for me. I'm just blessed to still be here, be able to talk. But yeah, I had stopped making videos for my YouTube channel or for my TT, and I said stop. I said, you know what? But I was so sad inside. I didn't have any purpose. You know, God will see that you're so like sad. He'll send you something to take the edge off. You know, depend on God to do that. Don't lean to your own understanding. Lean on God, let him do it, and he will what? Direct your path. I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And so when you ask, the Bible also says, ask and you shall receive. Well, I asked God, I said, God, I don't want to have dementia. I don't want that. I don't want dementia. It's a horrible, horrible disease. It was hard enough to see my grandfather deal with it, and it caused me issues with my mind as far as, I couldn't remember anything. I was just, oh my gosh, even if I was trying to make a video, my videos were just, you could just see that I was going through something, and maybe you couldn't, but looking back, I'm like, yeah, I had the circles around my eyes, because you don't get sleep, guys. It's a 24-hour job when you're a caregiver and you're keeping your loved one at home. And so I would suggest, like, if you do have, parents, and they're getting older, you should be, helping them to not, possibly develop dementia, even though dementia will probably start to develop, in my opinion, from what I've researched, in your 40s. Why? Because everything starts to change in your 40s. So it's not something that literally just comes up overnight. It comes up over time. Okay, let's get that together. It develops over time. And once the ball is rolling, with that, unfortunately, that's pretty much it. It's just going to keep developing, especially if you're not aware of it. So if you find yourself becoming forgetful, of course, if you forgot where you laid your keys, or if you forgot if you locked the door, everyone can become a little bit forgetful, but don't let it go. I remember with my granddad, my grandmother would say he's becoming so forgetful, and it was at that time that I feel like things started to change. It started to change because he retired. My granddad actually stopped working in his 80s, which is, awesome. He worked from the ages of, he said, 10 or 11 to 80. So that's like unusual. But my point is, people generally retire like 65 or whatever. And so I would suggest that when you do retire, you pick up something to do within that time. You cannot just work for 40 years and then, retire and not replace that type of energy, because what's going to happen is you're going to start to atrophy. Your brain will start to atrophy. It won't have all those activities anymore. And I can talk from my own experience. So I was caregiving every day. And then when that task had ended, okay, I just stopped doing everything. So I was so weak. My husband and I, we loved walking. We couldn't even get up a hill. We were so unfit. We were out of shape. Weight had started to pile on. So I had put on like 10, 15 pounds in a matter of a few months. My body had just shifted in a negative way. And so one thing that I realized is that when I would make videos, I would feel better. It would give me energy. And the reason why I would feel better is because, first of all, it's an activity. Having to entertain, talk, be informational, the type of content that I was giving at the time, I had started doing waist beads. And I love waist beads. I had come across that on TT as well. And I started making them, and I actually started to sell them. And then the algorithms of whatever changed again, and it's like I just couldn't get my footing. And the devil wants to tell me now, oh, this isn't going to work. No one's going to watch you crochet. No one's going to buy into this. And I have to tell that spirit or that devil, say, you are a liar, because this was sent from God. God told me. I asked a question and he answered. So you are a liar, devil. And that's why I keep doing it, because I know that this is my purpose. Now, just because it's your purpose does not mean it's going to necessarily, be your purpose as far as the world may see is like, oh my gosh, why are you making videos? It's getting 5 views. It's not this, it's not that. I mean, that's the devil talking to take that purpose away from you, because that's what he comes to do. Kill, steal, and destroy your purpose. Okay? And so basically that's what's up. I just started making videos again, and this holster right here, I actually purchased off Amazon. And it was actually the wrong purchase. So I thought I wanted a front one, what is it called? Holster or whatever. And I actually purchased the wrong one and didn't know it. Now, lo and behold, 2 years later, I said, well, God, you knew I was going to be doing this type of stuff, because I told my husband, I said, it's sitting in the corner. He had put it together. So it had came, we had put it together, but it was like, okay, I don't cook anymore. I don't do anything to show. I don't do my nails. I don't do this. I don't do that. I just went through I don't have this. I guess the D word, depressed. I didn't even know that, because I'm thinking depression and all that. It's just you being sad and crying all day. Well, that wasn't me. Sometimes that comes in when you don't know your purpose. So anyway, just a few days ago, literally 2 days ago, it was staring at me in my face, and it was like, God was like, take that from the corner, dust it off, and have your husband set that up for you, and you start making your crochet videos. And I said, look at God. I said, honey, we thought that this was the wrong purchase, and apparently it was not. God had a purpose for that holster that literally was sitting there for a year. And now I'm using it. Boom. So I don't know who that's for. Like, even if you're going through something right now, and you're like, oh my gosh, why did this happen? Why did I do this? Why did I purchase this? Okay, well, I don't want to take it back, because I never took it back. I said, well, it's here now. I don't feel like going through, Amazon and return and all that. I said, I'll just keep it, whatever. And lo and behold, it was for me to do these type of videos for my crochet channel, which was not even developed. It was not even born. And now it is. So there you have it. And now look at me, a beginner crocheter, teaching others how to pick up a hook and get some yarn and start crocheting. Today, crochet. That's what we're doing here on this channel. Today, crochet. And start where you want to start. Like I said, I started, I've never made a scarf or anything like that. I just basically made hats, and I make hats, and this will be my first crop top, because I got into crop tops back when I started doing waist beads. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start wearing crop tops and showing my stomach to myself, because if it's something that you want to basically work on, why are you hiding it? Why are you not looking at it? So I wear 9 times out of 10, I'm wearing a crop top every day. And so whether it's winter, summer, spring, fall, I don't care. And so I said, you know what, let me go ahead and, crochet a crop top. And so that's what we're doing. I have a second project that I'm working on, which is a knitted crop top, but it's much more involved. Oh my gosh, it's 92 rows, and I'm on row 36. When I initially went into that, I did not know it was going to take me a long time. And there you go. So I have something short. I know how to do hats. I know how to do, crop tops. I'm going to make some shorts. Oh, I have my whole kind of year planned out, which is something I very rarely do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. Okay, this is another thing too. Like if you're constantly counting, let's bring up my granddad. My granddad was a bill collector. He had his own business in furniture. This is so he was like run a center, but not. And that's what he did. So he counted all of the time. He was a counter. He counted money. He counted. He could do figures in his head. I used to call him a human calculator. You can just say, what's this and this? And he would say, da. And as soon as he stopped doing that, that's when dementia came in. Now, he actually, his dementia was not the worst that it could have gotten. It got pretty bad, but it actually could have gotten worse. And it's because he counted things for years. And so I brought that up because right then and there I have to count. So it's so many things that you do in crocheting. First and foremost, you do repetitiveness. And that's why a lot of crocheters would say, you know, I need to do 4 and 5 different projects, because if you're constantly doing the same thing every day, then you're kind of working against what crocheting is supposed to be. Crocheting is supposed to give you variety. It's supposed to have you not do the same thing because it's good for your brain. Remember, we're trying to prevent dementia here. And if you're doing the same thing every day, then all of a sudden you're just working off of rote. You're just basically not using your mind anymore. And then your brain cannot develop anymore. So I feel like if you're not learning something every day, then you're atrophying, meaning your brain is getting weaker, and then that can put you in the lane of having dementia. And you don't want that. But I'm not saying, you know, I said what I said, and it is based on what I've read and what I've gone through. But of course, I'm not saying that's how you get it. I'm just saying that if you're not learning every day, if you're not getting a new wrinkle in your brain every day, then your brain is just going to just stop developing. You know what I mean? Like, you very rarely hear children get dementia. Why? Because children are literally learning something every day. But as we become adults, we tend to start to what? You know what to do. You get in your car, turn your keys. You don't even think, okay, I'm putting the key in the ignition. Like that R. Kelly song. I'm putting my key in the ignition and I'm turning it on. You're not thinking that. You're just going over there and doing it. And so that's what crocheting helps with. You're counting, you're doing different patterns. Oh my gosh, those patterns are the way to keep that brain from atrophying, from deteriorating. So that's what happens. You know, over time, we tend to do the same thing every day, and stuff starts to deteriorate. It is what it is. If it's just sitting around, it's going to get dusty. It is what it is. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. Your brain is a muscle. And so if you're not using it, you're losing it. It is what it is. Okay? All right. So let's see how long I have been on here. Because I am, okay. Okay, we have some minutes left. I can be a little long-winded, you know. Let me drink some water. Okay. So yeah, that is what's up. So, honey, if you do this every day and you start to remember those patterns, and then you start to build upon the patterns, that's what a lot of crocheters do. Like, I learned how to do double crochet and all that, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just do this hat my way. Oh yeah. So I may not even fully like follow the pattern. I may put something else in there to make it different. You know, just like a recipe. I almost want to call patterns recipes, because you know, when you get that recipe for that bundt cake or those cookies or that mac and cheese or whatever you love eating, guys, you know darn well you follow it, but you know you put what we call it doctor it up. You know, you doctor up that recipe. And so that's what you can do with crocheting as well. You can take a pattern and then you can start to do it the way you want and get just as good of a result or better, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So that's why your girl started to crochet, darling. That's why she did it. Because I said, hey, I don't want to develop dementia. And dementia takes a few years. It takes decades to develop. It doesn't develop, like I said before, it doesn't develop overnight. It develops over time. And we start to ignore the signs of it. And if you looked it up, I'm sure it probably would be so many different, things. It's not one. It's many. Like you can go to 2 or 3 different blogs and they're all will say something different. I'm just keeping it real. But I'm talking from just experience and what I've seen. If you've seen someone actually deal with dementia and you see the deterioration and you think, well, when did it start? And it started probably 10 to 15 years prior to when things started to really take a toll. It was not immediate. So with that being said, that it does slowly develop, you can help to kind of prevent it from developing fully or developing at all. Just start to focus on your stress and start to focus on learning. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 50. I mean, I've had people 60s and 70s crocheting, because they start, of course, they crochet, at, young ages, but I'm sure you can pick it up if you want to, it may take a little longer to get, it may not, I don't know. I'm in my 40s and I feel like I kind of picked it up fast. So it just depends on the reason why you're picking it up too. If you're picking up because you're just seeing this video and you're like, of course, we know as content providers, we, inspire, or we get that flame in your gut to shut on. That's what I love to do, I'm dropping seeds, and I know that, you're seeing this. And of course, if you see this enough, honey, you're going to want to go to the store and get a hook. You want to, and get to crocheting today. It is what it is. It's just, you're not going to sit here and watch something and not want to partake in it. That's why you have to be careful of what you watch, and because eventually you're going to want to do it yourself. So yeah, that's why we're here, guys. And this channel is really, it's like I said, it's for people who want to crochet. It's for people who've been crocheting for years. It's for people who want to watch someone crochet. It could be relaxing and things like that. I don't know. But we're almost done this thing. And like I said, I love talking. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I got to the point where I couldn't do it. It would stress me out. I would, become this different entity as far as my nerves, and it would make me tired. I would go live and then I wouldn't be able to go live for months, or to be honest, weeks, because it just would make me just tired. My body would just, and now I've been doing this on TT for months, for weeks now. I mean, almost a month, if not a month already. I've been on there just streaming all day crocheting, and I'm like, wow, yeah, this is different. I'm uploading on 2 different YouTube channels. I got a During Gossip channel, and I have a crocheting channel, and I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm 40 plus years old. Yeah, and it just forces you to get better. Crocheting forces you to get better. Like my granny squares, sometimes they squaring and sometimes they not, but hey, who gives a goddamn, right? Who cares? You are crocheting. You know what I mean? I remember it was a scene. This is a random scene from Different World. Oh my gosh. And I think Whitley and Dwayne was getting into this little argument over their things. They had just moved in their house. And she said, you're not doing it right. And you're not doing something right. And Dwayne said, but I'm doing it. And I was like, it was funny then. I was like, well, yeah, that's life. people will say, oh, you're not using it right, and you're not doing this right, with crocheting and things like that. Like, or, oh, this is this and this is crooked. But I'm like, but you're doing it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is going to start doing something perfect. And that's another thing about crocheting. Like, it's art. And so it's expressive. Even if it's not perfect, hunty, you made it. You took the time out and did it. And then you have something to aspire to for yourself to get better. You know what I mean? Like, I made a whole granny square purse. And the colors, of course, because it was ombre. Them ombre. If you really want to look like you're a professional and you really want to get people talking about your crochet items, start getting some ombre colors. I have all let me show you guys my ombre purse. This is my ombre. This is my first purse that I actually made. And I don't know if you guys can see it. Honey, people just love the color. And they're like, oh, I love the color. But it's ombre. So if you want to look like you know what the heck you're doing, get you some ombre schemes. Isn't that what it's called? Schemes or whatever. And get to making your granny squares. Honey, they will love it. And just the colors itself, people will be looking at what you're doing, when all it was some ombre. But they don't need to know that. They feel like you handpicked each color and put it on there. It's none of their business. You ain't got to give up your secrets here, But yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, it's not going to look perfect in the beginning. We're not here to impress anybody. No, we just here to get first of all, get your therapy on. Like the song say, get your club on. Yeah, get your therapy on. That's what this is. This is some free therapy for yourself to help you calm down. And honey, if you are crocheting, you ain't got time to be thinking about nothing else. You thinking about finishing this product or starting a new one. Because it is really it's a lot of fun. I don't like to use the word addicted, because addiction is negative. So we're just going to say it's just fun, and it's healthy fun. That's what it is. It is healthy fun. You ain't hurt nobody. Now, let's talk about body mechanics, y'all, because that's one thing people are going to say, hey, what about your hands? You're going to get arthritis. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. Well, I'm a person who usually injures very quickly, right? I was in hair school, and I remember this is back when we were still learning how to do Marcel's. And she was like, click, click, click. Take the Marcel's and click, 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 click. Well, this thumb immediately that day during school, where she had us click 100 times, it got stuck. And to this day, sometimes this thumb gets stuck. Well, at the time, I wasn't taking turmeric. Now, you can go ahead and you can look up what turmeric is good for. And the first thing it'll tell you usually is inflammation. And inflammation is of the devil. It is a curse. It is in the Bible. And you can kind of look that up and say, what verse in the Bible or what book in the Bible talks about inflammation? Yes, that's something that they did not tell us. But inflammation, which is really the mother to all, in my opinion, to all disease disorders, is inflammation. And so one thing that I do now in my 40s, which I did not know, God had me drink turmeric, and I do a turmeric and cinnamon mix. Okay, I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm not telling you to do it. That's what I do to deal with what I deal with. So if you take it, that's because you want to. Okay, but now I know why He's had me do this, because now I'm crocheting, and I'm sure if you crochet for hours and things like that, you can get sore hands or you can get arthritis. But I've been crocheting every day for a month, and I have not had any injuries. In Jesus' name, I'm covering that. Okay, I have not had any injuries, and I know it's more than likely because I take turmeric. Okay, so I would suggest, yes, if you are going to start crocheting, and I said, yes, crocheting is very, it's relaxing and it's fun, and you're obviously going to want to do it for hours. make sure you're taking things that's going to help with inflammation. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Some people soak their hands, some people, do this and that. I don't have to soak my hands in Epsom salts or anything like that. I haven't had to do it. I haven't had any wrist inflammation, because I'm going to tell you, once you get pain in your wrist, it's pretty much a wrap. You're not going to be able to crochet. And so I look at crocheting as therapy, and I look at crocheting as a means to making a living, as far as teaching it and things like that. So I can't get, injuries are not a part of the options for me. Like, I cannot get injuries. So I try to take breaks. I drink plenty of water, because if you don't drink water, guys, your joints will get stiff. We're 70% or more water. Okay, that's what we are. And so if you don't drink enough water, your joints won't be lubricated, and they won't move as fluid, and then you'll have injury. Okay, I found myself having to crack my knuckles, and that's a bad habit. I remember my parents telling me, hey, cracking your knuckles causes arthritis or whatever, and so, yeah, be careful about that. You can also get injuries in your shoulders because, you may be, stiff, you're sitting for a long time. And so your other body, you have to be aware. So it's good to get up and shake off and get some circulation going. Don't sit for a long time. No more than an hour, you know what I mean? And then take a break and eat something, Oh, that's another thing. If you're going to pick up crocheting, just know that you are going to be hungry. Okay? And so we're not crocheting to accrue more issues. We are crocheting for therapy. Like, my stomach is growling right now. I'm getting hungry. Okay? Because this video is almost done. Okay? But I have to tell you, the devil wants me to get some nuts and chews, okay, and salty and sweet, and say, oh, this is going to help. And God said, look, you're not here crocheting just to make yourself not well. So, no, you're not going to eat sweet stuff and salty stuff. I've seen some crocheters eat Fruit Loops and fruit candy and all of that. So you're sitting there crocheting, and then you're causing issues in your your glucose. And so you're not getting those benefits from crocheting, okay? So yes, it'll make you hungry, but don't sit there and snack on bad food. Don't sit there and do that. Eat your lunch, take a break, and come back at it. And I'm talking to those who wants to do what I'm doing, which would possibly make videos or make a living or do whatever, And even people who may not, but you just want to personally do it. Hours can just go by and you're sitting there crocheting, So you want to make sure you got your water, your fruit juice, fresh fruit juice blended, not that stuff that you buy that's already like that. That's not what we're doing here. We don't want to fill ourselves with negative stuff, and then you won't get the benefits of what crocheting is all about. Okay, now my stomach has made an entrance. I gotta eat. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope that this has inspired you. And I'm going to try to do more videos like this. It's informational, inspirational, educational, and entertaining. Okay? And with that being said, you guys have an awesome day. And I'll see you next time.